What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and for today I wanted to do one of the requests that I saw from you guys in the comments, and that is how to make your characters stronger. Now, if you've been playing Marvel Future Fight for any more than I would say a month, you're probably doing pretty much everything that I'm going to say on this list right here, so this video may not be for you. I'm doing this mainly for the people who are new to the game because Future Fight is a growing game and we are always getting new players, and I always get hit in the comments asking me, how do you make your characters more powerful, how can you make them do more damage, and that kind of stuff. So in this video I'm going to cover 17 ways off the top of my head that you guys can make your characters significantly better, and by doing some or all of these things you will see a night and day difference in between what your characters can do now in comparison to what they can do after. Alright, so I don't want to make this video super long, so let's jump right into it. Number one, and probably the easiest thing for you to do, is join a level 30 alliance. Future Fight is over 2 years old now. There's plenty of level 30 alliance around that you can join, and their requirements are not that strict, and my alliance is one of those. Okay, I'm not saying we can take everyone. And I know right here in the alliance notice it says less than 1 mil in AB equals boot, no conquest contribution equal boot, good luck. But this is mainly to people who join alliances or join our alliance and don't communicate, because for us and a lot of the other alliances in the game, communication is key. To be honest, for our alliance, we don't personally care if you're really good at the game because we're not super competitive. We're mainly playing for the camaraderie. So if you join our alliance and you speak and you're logging every day, and if you need help you ask and you're willing to learn and grow as a player, we will be happy to have you even if you're joining the alliance at level 1, guys. And a lot of other alliances in the game are similar to us. Okay, we're not super competitive. We enjoy being competitive, but we're not gonna force our members to, hey, you gotta be in here, you gotta do it every day, you gotta do this every day. Real life comes first. Okay, if you can't afford to pay your phone bill, you can't afford to play the game. It's just that simple. So real life always comes first. I know I'm digressing right here, so yeah. Anyways, join a level 30 alliance. Lots of perks for joining a level 30 alliance, guys. The alliance bonus is one of them. As you guys can see, your characters gain XP faster, you get more gold. On top of that, you get more freaking attack stats, crit damage, crit rate, dodge, not that useful. Decrease skill cooldown by 14% is probably the best thing here. It makes getting your characters to max skill cooldown significantly easier, guys, and it's one of the main reasons why I always have max skill cooldown on my characters. Being in the level 30 alliance will definitely change your life. So if you can, join a level 30 alliance. Okay, second thing, guys, it's not as easy as the first, but getting good cards, guys. Getting good cards. As you guys can see right here, my cards are not the greatest. Every single one of these cards can be attained for free, and everything that I've done in the past year of me making videos on this channel, what I believe I'm at over 300, almost 400 videos right now, and all of it was done using free-to-play friendly cards. As you guys can see for yourself, my stats are nothing that great. So if I can do all the stuff that I've been able to do on this channel using free-to-play cards, you guys can do the exact same. It just takes a little bit of time and a little bit of luck. So pray to RNGesus. Having good cards will definitely play a huge role in what you can and cannot do in this game. Okay, now next thing I want to say, guys, is get your characters to 6 stars as fast as possible. Getting them to 6 stars means they have more skills at their disposal. More skills equals more damage. It's just that simple. Okay, on top of that, you want to make sure you master them, guys, because some of these characters have really good leaderships, and the leadership in some cases may make or break the character. It may make it so that they can do stuff that they would otherwise not be able to do. 45% increase to physical attack is huge. So if you enter a stage and you have him with no masteries and he can't do it, you could easily jump back out, give him all of the masteries, and that 45% attack boost may make it so that he's able to do it for you. Okay, so fully master your characters. Okay, on top of that, you want to always level up key skills, guys. So a good example of this would be for someone like my Jean Grey. My Jean Grey is a character I use for pretty much everything. Her key skills, in my opinion, would be the 5 skill, because you can see a huge attack buff right here. Her 4 skill, which does the bulk of her damage, and the 3 skill right here, another key skill. It gives her a ton of freaking bonuses. To be honest, she might be a bad example because she has so many key skills. This one right here, time freeze. Okay, so look for key skills on your characters and level those up as much as you possibly can. Okay, another thing that you want to do, guys, you want to upgrade their gears. Okay, you want to make sure you upgrade their character gears as close to 20 as possible. I know sometimes because you guys are new, you don't have the gear up kits and that kind of stuff, but try your best to at least get the first one and the last one to 20 first. Get these other 2 in the middle to 15, but make sure you get this to 20, because then you can roll for skill cooldown to max out your skill cooldown this way, and you can get as much attack out of the character as possible. Since you don't have the defense and the HP, you have to play them with a little bit more skill, but that is fine because you already have the damage, or at least I hope you guys will have the damage by doing this. Another thing that I want to say right here, guys, is make sure you get your characters to level 60, because believe it or not, getting them to level 60 drastically affects their damage output. Trust me, if you're going up against another level 60 and you're level 30, you're going to notice a big cut to your damage. And a good example of this is if you take a level 30 character, even if it's Doctor Strange, and put them in Shadowland on like floor 1, you will notice that they're doing good damage. But if you take them out of Shadowland and get them to level 60, even if they're the exact same star level, you would notice a massive difference in the amount of damage they're doing. So being level 60 definitely plays a role in how much damage you're doing. Another thing that I want to show you guys is something that you should always do. I'm switching characters, but I want to give you guys different examples. Okay, so right here, my Wolverine. Okay, you always, one of the very first stats that you should always max out is ignore defense. Ignore defense essentially makes it so that the enemy has 50% less defense. So let's say, for example, you have an enemy, they have 1,000 defense points, and you ignore 50% of that. They effectively only have 500. Or you're just dealing 50% more damage. Either way you look at it, ignore defense is a key stat that should always be maxed out, okay? I know some of my characters are not maxed out under ignore defense, and I can get away with that because I have good cards, I'm in a good alliance, and I have all their skills for the most part maxed out. So if you're doing a lot of the things on this list, you don't always have to hit everything to a T, but they definitely play a role by having them completed. Okay, next thing is skill cooldown. Reduce cooldown duration 50%. It's a really good idea to always have that maxed out, because the lower the cooldown time on your skills, the more effectively you can cycle through your skills, and you don't have to spend the majority of the fight running around waiting for skills to come off cooldown and potentially dying in the process. So having max skill cooldown will definitely play a big role in being able to complete a lot of the end game content for sure. Another thing that I'm going to tell you guys is try to get as close to max attack speed as possible, because some characters have really, I would say, wonky animation where they attack very slowly initially and they take damage at the beginning of their skills that in most cases can potentially cost you the fight if that happens repeatedly throughout that encounter. Okay, so definitely try to get as much attack speed as possible. It definitely helps. Okay guys, it definitely helps. Another thing that I want to tell you guys is that I know I'm going to be quick here, but I want to get this done as quickly as possible. Attack ISO sets are amazing, but you don't always have to go attack. Okay, you can go attack, or you can go for an HP shield, or in some cases you can go for a recovery ISO set like I Am Also Groot or Start Backing. But ideally, go for an attack ISO set, or if you're building someone for PvP, go for an HP shield like Drastic Density Enhancement. Trust me, always put ISO sets on your character. You will notice a night and day difference. Another thing that I want to tell you guys, Obelisk. I know these things right here are not as good as they once was with the implementation of CTPs, but they are still really good to have on your character characters. So I highly recommend that you always put an obelisk on your character, especially if it's someone that you like. You don't always have to give them a 6-star. Most cases you'll get something that's decent at 3 stars, and you can just give them that as a placeholder for the time being. At least that is good enough than having nothing. Trust me guys, try to have good stats. Stuff like crit damage, ignore defense are definitely good stats. So this one that you're looking at right now, I would potentially just throw in a character that I don't really care about because it would still give them some really good stats, okay? Next thing right here that I want to talk to you guys about is get the best uniform that you can for the character that you're trying to make stronger. In some cases, it's a really crappy uniform, so I would not ideally buy it. This one right here is good now. This is not a good example anymore. I would say someone like, if I can find her, because she has 2 really crappy uniforms. Where is she? She's hiding. This girl right here, exposed. These 2 uniforms right here, never buy them. But if you like the character and you want to make her stronger, she's still going to be garbage, but if you want to make her stronger, you can buy the uniform. And another thing you could do, which I'm not recommending this, you could upgrade the uniform, okay? So that is another way you could potentially get the character to become stronger, okay? Another thing that you could do for your characters, guys, is something that I always do for tier 2 natives that I like, and that is give them Urus. I know guys, this is a very touchy subject because Uru grind is very real and very costly, but you can give them Urus and Urus will make them significantly stronger. I wouldn't say it's on par with an ISO set, but it's very close, okay? So definitely try to consider giving them Urus. That's gonna make a big impact in your end game content clear time, or rather it could take you from not being able to clear something to being able to clear something, okay? So definitely consider putting Urus on your characters if you are struggling, okay? Another thing that I want to speak to you guys about is using a proper skill rotation, guys. Don't just go into a fight, even if you're using Wolverine and he's a mindless machine, you don't just go into the fight and then just start spamming 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not gonna get you done. Well, that could potentially win the fight for you, but that's not being effective, okay? So for example, for Wolverine, a skill rotation I like to use, I'm not saying this is the best rotation by any means. I open with the 4 skill just because it gives him that buff. Then from there I go to the 5 skill to try and trigger the proc on my freaking obelisk right here because I have a game plan, and after that I generally just hit the 2 skill, maybe the 1 skill, and if for some reason I feel like being cheeky, I'll use the 3, but after the 2 skill or the 1 skill, I generally just go right back into the 4 because I want to keep this buff active, okay? So that's an example of how you could use a proper skill rotation for a character. Every character's skill rotation is different, so you kind of have to play with them for a little while in order to figure it out, okay? So definitely consider using a proper skill rotation. Okay, last thing on the list right here, guys, I'm going a bit quickly, but bear with me. The last thing that I want to say is make sure that if you really like the character, you consider tier 2ing them. And I click Carnage because Carnage is a character that is pretty good at tier 1, but it becomes exponentially better at tier 2. And there's lots of other characters in this game that, in my opinion, are really bad at tier 1, but at tier 2 they actually become very good, and our recent addition is actually one of those. Let me see if I can find this guy. I'm talking about Scourge, and I'm blind right now. There we go. So this guy right here at tier 1 survivability, absolute garbage, really good damage, but his tier 2 passive actually gives him invincibility for 5 seconds, and this you can chain together with his guard and make it so that for the most part he doesn't get hit. So he's a good example of how a character can go from being really bad to being an absolute beast. I actually have him pretty well built up right now, so I will potentially be tier 2ing him. If you guys want me to tier 2 him, let me know in the comments and we could potentially do that, and I can show you guys just how much better he becomes at tier 2. So yeah, that's all I have to say for today, guys. 17 ways that you can make your characters significantly more powerful. Let me know if this is something that you're interested in seeing, and yeah, I could potentially make more videos like these. But that's all for this one, guys. Like always, thanks for watching. Hope it was informative, and I will see you guys next time. Peace and love.